The Battle of Midway, a turning point in World War II. June 4th, 1942. The Pacific Ocean is calm, with the skies stretching in an endless blue. Beneath the tranquil surface, tension is brewing. After Japan's triumph at Pearl Harbor, the Empire seeks to crush the remnants of the U.S. Navy and solidify its dominance. Their target, Midway Atoll, a critical American outpost island in the Pacific. The Japanese fleet, commanded by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, is a juggernaut. 4 aircraft carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, 200 ships, and 248 aircraft. Against them, the Americans, though battered from Pearl Harbor, stand resolute, armed with intelligence from broken Japanese codes. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, leading the U.S. Pacific Fleet, has a trap ready. June 4th, 1942. Early morning. The stillness is shattered as Japanese bombers roar toward Midway. Commander Mitsuo Fuchida's pilots unleash destruction, cratering the airfields and setting fuel depots ablaze. Smoke billows into the sky as American ground crews scramble to repair the damage. Meanwhile, aboard the U.S. carriers Enterprise, Hornet, and Yorktown, pilots await orders. Below deck, engineers prepare torpedoes and bombs. Radio chatter erupts as scouts report Japanese carriers 200 miles away. Admiral Raymond Spruance commands, "Launch everything we've got." Late morning American planes from Midway Atoll make the first strike, but it's a disaster. Dive bombers miss their marks. Torpedoes splash harmlessly into the ocean. Anti-aircraft fire from Japanese carriers creates walls of smoke and shrapnel, shredding the attacking squadrons. Of the 41 torpedo bombers launched, only 6 make it back. The Japanese officers cheer, confident of their invincibility. Admiral Nagumo orders his pilots to rearm with anti-ship bombs to target the American fleet. But just as his crews work below deck, another threat looms on the horizon. 10:20 a.m. Japanese spotters report American ships closing in. Admiral Nagumo hesitates. Should he launch his planes to strike the fleet, or continue targeting Midway? This crucial moment of indecision buys the Americans precious time. Out of nowhere, American dive bombers from Enterprise and Yorktown appear in the skies. They descend like hawks, unnoticed due to the earlier sacrificial torpedo attacks that drew Japanese fighters away. "Bombs away!" shouts Lieutenant Commander Wade McCluskey. Explosions erupt across Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu. Fireballs rip through the decks, igniting fuel and munitions. Crewmen scream and dive overboard. Within minutes, 3 of Japan's 4 carriers are ablaze, their decks mangled, and their planes destroyed. Afternoon, Admiral Taimon Yamaguchi, aboard the surviving carrier Hiryu, refuses to retreat. He launches a counterstrike, targeting the Yorktown. Japanese bombers score direct hits, setting the carrier's deck on fire. Despite heroic efforts by the crew to save the ship, the Yorktown is eventually abandoned. The Americans brace for another assault, but this time they strike first. Dive bombers locate Hiryu and unleash devastation. Flames consume the carrier and it sinks hours later, taking Yamaguchi with it. As the sun sets on June 4th, the tide has turned irrevocably. Japan has lost 4 carriers, over 250 aircraft, and many of its best pilots. The U.S., though battered, emerges victorious, securing the Pacific for the first time. Nagumo's indecision and the delay in rearming Japanese planes creates a critical opening for American bombers. The dive bombers' precision, the synchronized attacks on Japanese carriers during their vulnerable rearming stage. Yorktown's sacrifice. Despite being badly damaged, Yorktown draws Japanese attacks away from other carriers. Hiryu's final stand, the lone Japanese carrier's desperate counterattack, showcases bravery and resolve, but ultimately ends in flames. The Battle of Midway is the turning point of the Pacific War. Japan's naval superiority is shattered, and its ambitions of expansion are permanently thwarted. The U.S., bolstered by this victory, begins its island-hopping campaign, pushing Japan back toward its homeland. Experience the turning point that reshaped World War II. Dive into the heroism, strategy, and sacrifice that defined the Battle of Midway. Like, share, and subscribe to explore more pivotal moments in history.